Hello, my name is Priscilla Gray. That's Gray with an A, and I live in Naples, Florida.
And you, we've been discussing this. You've been homeschooling your children for a long time. How many children have you homeschooled?
Well, I have two children, and their ages 22 and 24.
And what kind of curriculum did you use when you were homeschooling your own children? Did you create your own or?
Having 13 years of college education, I'm a person with a lot of confidence, and I didn't pin myself to any curriculum. I don't identify with any curriculum. I took from numerous curricula, but my main concern was teaching them how to read properly so that whatever book they picked up, they could read it. And so the main thing that I wanted to teach them was how to read well and fluently, the way I was taught in Miami, Florida, when I was in the public and private school system there. And so the main curricula that I started with is Phyllis Schlafly's First Reader, which is here, which teaches the traditional way of sounding out a word and grouping similar words together so that they make sense. And so you learn one letter, you learn the sounds to the letters, you start with the vowels and a few consonants, and you build every day, every lesson for a 15 or 20-minute lesson. And by the end of the book, the child should be able to read just about any word he or she encounters.
Do you think that this is a better method, what was presented in this book, that, than what was being offered in the homeschooling or in
it's a far better method, and it's been proven time and time again that it's a better method.
Yeah, could you expand on that just a little bit?
I'll happily. It's based on the Hey Wingo. I happen to have a couple of Hey Wingo. It's based on the Hey Wingo traditional way of teaching English to read. Now, these are books from the 40s, if not earlier.
Wow.
And they teach the sound by showing pictures that start with that sound. And then they build upon those with a lovely combination of pictures and sounds, a consonant and a vowel. And these were used for hundreds of years. This kind of method was used for hundreds of years to teach English phonetically, and also to group the different kinds of words together.
When you started homeschooling your own children, did you have any difficulties with that or any struggles with the system in Florida?
My struggles were personal. My husband abandoned me when my children were very young. So I became a single mom, which is not something I had considered that would happen to me, but it did. And so my children's father wanted them to be in the public school, even though he had been a proponent of homeschooling when we got married. So we did a little bit of public school in California. Then we moved to Florida. We did a little bit of public school in Florida. So I did experience public schools in Palm Beach County, in Delray Beach to be exact. And they were a great disappointment. And then after a while, I decided to homeschool. And the day I decided to homeschool was right before the end of Christmas break in 2007. And my little boy said to me, "Mom, I hate going back to school." And I said, "Well, why is that, son?" And he said, "Well, because my sister, who's his older sister, is going to be grouchy again. And she treats me ill when she's in school. And she's been so nice to be with over the Christmas holiday." And I said, "And why do you think that is?" And he says, "Because the kids at school treat her poorly and she doesn't like it. And she's worried about what other people think. And she's anxious about school. She doesn't understand the math." So that inspired me to homeschool again.
Something interesting just came to my mind, and that a lot of people, when they associate homeschooling, they think of alienation, lack of socialization. But you kind of flipped the coin there in a way, and you kind of stated that in a way, one of your children was feeling more alienated in public school surrounded by peers because of the way the dynamics kind of change when we're trying to impress peer groups and stuff like that. So, I mean,
Yes.
what else were they saying? And I just want to be clear, what ages did you start them in homeschooling? Did it go all the way through high school?
So I homeschooled my daughter when she was in kindergarten through first grade. And then I homeschooled her again when she was in, let's see, halfway through fifth grade, I guess. And by then they had put her in the advanced placement program in the state of Florida. And she had a book list that was truly offensive as far as our Catholic Christian morals. And so that was upsetting. And I had a discussion with the teacher and the principal about getting an alternative book list. And then there was the stress in the classroom. They were teaching a math that was illogical. They weren't searching for the correct answers. They were searching for the assigned process. And it's not the math that you could use to do your taxes or to solve real life problems. It's not even the math that they teach in college or community college. It's a kind of fake math.
I've seen a recurring pattern in people stating kind of what you've said there. Have you seen any inadequacies in any of the other subjects taught in public school systems, or is math kind of a focal point for that?
No, all of the subjects are deficient, every single one of them. And that's the same for college as well. Every subject, even engineering now, is politicized. Even science has been politicized for decades. And so all of the subjects were deficient. So in language arts, my daughter was in the AP class in Florida, and she was assigned a terrible list of books that were inappropriate for a young lady, for a fifth grader. They were depressing. They caused her to cry. She was assigned books that displayed values that were not akin to our own Christian values. And it's so much worse now. It's 2020, and it's so much worse now than it was 15, 12 years ago.
When your two children transitioned back to homeschooling from the public system, what was their general feeling about it? It sounds like it was really positive. Do you remember any of the other things that they said?
Oh yeah, they thanked me constantly. They said, we have more time to read, and I'm reading a lot more than I used to. And I got them involved we got involved in nature. Mm-hmm. So for instance, in Palm Beach County, Florida, there are a lot of parks and park programs. At one of them near where we lived, near the Wakotahachie at the Loxahatchee wetlands, they were actually teaching half-day courses in science during the spring and Christmas breaks and during the summer. So they got to take those classes, and they made some friends, some other science geek kids who were taking those classes. And that included some public school children, of course, because these were designed for the breaks. They weren't designed for homeschooling children. And then we had more time as a family. We had less problems with school because we had none, and we had more time as a family to do fun activities, and that included cooking together. You could grow some herbs or go out and fish in the lake, listen to good music. We joined different park systems so that there would be activities for us to do. And we did have a homeschooling support organization through our church. So a lot of them exist all over the country. I mean, there are thousands of them.
If you had to give advice to anyone that was wanting to bridge into homeschooling right now, but was having some doubts, what would be your words of advice for them?
In order to homeschool, all you need to do is have the heart for it, be willing to rescue your children from a terrible situation that they have in public schools today. Terrible for moral and academic reasons. And all you really need to know how to do is read. And if you're not the best reader in the world yourself, that still doesn't matter. All you need to know how to do is read. And with the reading curriculum that I used, you could even become a better reader yourself as you teach your own children how to sound out a word and decode a word properly.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight and sharing all of your information about this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nick, for doing this. I really appreciate it.